Hello. Welcome to yet another good episode of To the Fullest 2TF. I am your host, Ivan Mapevagwata, and on today's episode, we are privileged and honored to host Mr. Albert Sitwala Mwinga, who is a youth of valor, who is the CEO and the vision behind Power 360. Is a lot of things. It's a lot of things. I can't comprehend them, but I will allow him to do his own introduction. I might introduce him less, but I know he's a man of a lot of stuffs. And on today's episode, we are going to be talking about leadership and personal development. As a leader, most of the time we focus so much on building others. We focus so much on seeing that others are doing okay that we forget to work on ourselves. And on today's episode, Mr. Albert is just going to help us understand why it's important as a leader to always work on yourself, focus on yourself, your health, your mental health, your physical health, your spiritual life, in as much as you lead others. And that's the conversation of today. But let me allow the guest to just, introduce himself and greet you, my wonderful people. Mr. Albert, how are you?
I'm all right. Thanks very much, Pagoda, for having me here.
No, it's a pleasure.
Yeah,
We've
sure.
been looking forward to having you. You are a very busy man.
Definitely. Here it is now.
Yeah, no, we are blessed. Um, Maybe to the people who don't know you, who is Albert?
Right. So Albert Sitwala Winga is the Chief Visionary Officer of Impact 360, an organization that is rapidly growing. We focus on leadership, entrepreneurship, personal development, financial literacy, and now we are into business pitching and investment. Not only am I that, I'm also a Children's Parliament Coordinator at the National Assembly. I'm an author of a book that would be relevant and another book called The Courage to Begin. Besides that, I'm a Christian. Uh, I'm a member of the United Nations Children and Youth Major Group, UN. I think that's just a brief about who Albert Tito Namunga is.
The brief is very big. Now imagine the complete.
Yeah,
No,
sure.
yes, Zambia is doing great, and Zambia is producing great leaders, and Mr. Albert is just an example of that. Believe you me, if you've not checked him out, if you've not followed him, just do try and check him out. And if you're looking for inspiration, not just over in your spiritual life, your mental health, business, your emotions and social aspect, this is the person to follow. These are the people to learn from. Uh, Mr. Albert, you've just talked about a lot of things which you do and Empower 360. We as the 2TF team of family, we believe every person, every greatness we see today is as a product of a person's experience and some hard decision which had to be made. And we believe for the Albert we see now to exist, there was an Albert before who had to come up, learn, make mistake until we are able to see the Albert we are seeing. So when you look back, how was life growing up?
Right. So for me, I think growing up was, I wouldn't, okay, I've been unique in my own way because I've always had the passion, the courage in me to tell me, you can achieve more and you're destined for greatness.
Yeah.
But the moment that really spoke to me during my entire life was in grade 11 when I met a young girl who was doing quite a lot. She was working with not the United Nations, but the African Union, and she was just in grade 10. I was in grade 11. So I said, if this person can be able to do this at such an age,
Yeah.
definitely I can also do the same.
Yeah.
So that sparked a light into me. So no, find yourself something to be doing, make yourself relevant. And when I looked at myself, I enjoy talking. Obviously, I enjoy talking, and I enjoy networking. I enjoy going out. So I said, okay, let me take advantage of what I already enjoy. That's how I began whatever I'm currently doing. It all started with an inspiration from somebody who was younger than me. So I took it as a challenge and said, okay, I need to better myself up. That's the turning point for the Albert you're seeing now.
Yeah.
For sure.
No, I think that's very great. And when you look back from your childhood before the encounter, just from talking about, what's something when you remember, like, I think this I wouldn't want to experience again, or I wouldn't want to go through this experience, especially as a child or someone just growing up and learning life?
I think for me, I wouldn't love to sugarcoat things here and to make this podcast sound flowery and everything.
Yeah.
I haven't experienced any bad moments in my life.
Yeah.
God has always been on my side.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. And what inspires the Albert the world sees today?
All right, I have quite a number of inspirations. Number one, Susito Masagio, I just mentioned about.
Yeah.
The second person that also spoke to me and made me begin working on myself is Mila Chris Diwanger.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed how he was speaking the first time I had an encounter with him.
Yeah.
Okay, so this person is the person I'm seeing myself to be.
Yeah.
Okay, he's doing this, I can also become that. So that spoke to me and I started. You may also note that in my earlier beginnings or when I started this journey, when I embarked on the journey that I'm currently on, I started imitating Mila Wanga because when he speaks with authority. Even if you don't want to listen, you'll be forced to listen because the way he speaks, he's got authority. So I started imitating how he spoke, started imitating how he does things. But in the long run, I realized that Mila exists. And if I imitate him, I'm just becoming a photocopy of somebody else, and the world would not know that I exist. Let me find how I saw myself out uniquely to the people out there. Hence, that's how I began working on myself and improving on that. Then not only that, I'm also inspired by Jeremiah 29:11, which says, I know the plans that I have for you. My plans are to prosper and not to harm. So in that verse, when I came across that verse, it told me, no, God already has a plan. So why should I live below God's standards? God says his plans are to prosper. And why shouldn't I prosper? We have a narrative of saying, no, success is only for them. But I cannot succeed because I do not have this. I'm born from this family. Success is not for us. I cannot become a doctor. There's no doctor in our family. I can't become a lawyer. But for me, I said, if there's no lawyer in my family, I can become that person. If there's no diplomat, there's no president, I can become that person. So for me, those were things or moments that really spoke out to me, and those were my inspirations. Sure.
You just talked of imitating Muila Wanga and finding yourself. I just want to ask this question, maybe just my mind running wild. You said your book is Be Relevant.
Yes.
And Muila Wanga is also running an organization
Be
called Be
Relevant.
Relevant. Was that the inspiration of the title of the book, or that just came as a coincidence?
Right. I think for me, Be Relevant, I knew that he ran that organization, but it wasn't big as it is now. Yes, it hadn't had grown. So for me, the Be Relevant wasn't the inspiration of the organization, but the word itself, Be Relevant. It was something that provoked me to be relevant and to live to the standards of being relevant.
And my good sir, let me confirm if no one has confirmed. You are a very relevant youth.
We're trying.
No, you are doing it. You are doing it. And today we're speaking of leadership and personal development. But before we talk of leadership, before we talk of developing yourself as a leader or as a person, my good sir, do you think leaders are born or leaders are made?
I've encountered this question many times, and I'll still stand firm. So I don't think leaders are born. It's an option that we all have. God made every one of us leaders. So it's up to us to wake up the lion within us. For me, my growing up, my early age, during primary, I was a bit nervous. I didn't have the courage that I currently have today. But it was true. People say, no, you can do it. The motivation. The people around you, the people around me, rather, are the ones that help me discover, no, actually, I can achieve greater things. So leaders are born or made. No, leaders are not born. Leaders are made. So we are all born as leaders, but it's up to us to decide to walk on that path or not walk on that path. Sure.
So in short, we are all born with greatness.
Definitely.
But for the greatness to manifest, you have to discover yourself.
Sure.
You have to embrace the leader in you. That's very powerful. That's very strong. And what does it mean to you to be a leader?
Leadership is not about how many people you're leading. Leadership is about influence. So if I'm able to call you, hey Vagwada, are you able to come to East Park? Without you hesitating, or let me not speak of East Park. Let me say showgrounds. Are you able to come to showgrounds? This month is October. There's nothing important that's happening because if it was in August, you'd have said there's a show happening there. But there's nothing. So if you're able to come along without asking a lot of questions, definitely I am a leader because I've managed to convince and influence you. So leadership is about influence, and we all have to be leaders, and we are all leaders. Sure.
No, that's very strong. And since we're talking of leadership and personal development, what does personal development mean to you?
Just like I earlier on stated, we are all born leaders, but it's up to you to wake the lion within, to wake up the lion within you. So that's personal development. Personal development is improving yourself. Okay, how am I envisioning myself? Where do I see myself in the next 5 years?
Yeah.
Are my actions and my habits today aligning with who I want to be? If you see yourself becoming a police officer, walk like one. If you see yourself becoming a lawyer, speak like a lawyer, because you are steps towards your accomplishments.
Yeah.
So personal development, definitely, this is how we improve ourselves to becoming the people that we envision being,
Yeah.
and things that we envision doing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, what term is there in a person leading people who are more empowered, more knowledgeable than you as a leader?
Come again?
What term is there in a person leading people who are more, knowledgeable of you or who are more understanding? For example, I'm leading a group of people, and these people are people who have more courage than me. These people are outspoken, they have much confidence than I am as a leader. When you look in that scenario, what's the harm there?
And there's no harm, because let me give an example of where I come from in Power 360.
Yeah.
So currently we just began a cohort yesterday on the 10th.
Yeah.
Then when we had the networking session, because we wanted to get to know the people we are interacting with and people who are training.
Yeah.
So it happens to be that we have people that are in other professions, people that are older than me. So now if imagine I step to them, we have an HR within us, we have a lawyer within us, we have a business person within us. Then me, I'm just an Albert who's running this organization.
Yeah.
Me, maybe to say I'm 21 or I'm 20, then this person is 35, because we have people that are above that.
Yeah.
So am I going to work? So leadership is not about age. So age shouldn't be a barrier. Accomplishments shouldn't be a barrier, because people will be able to listen to you if you speak. So once you are a leader, the moment you speak, it doesn't matter who's within the room. People will be able to follow that and listen to you, because you are speaking as a leader. So leadership, remember, I said it's about influence.
Yeah.
For sure.
So it doesn't matter the people in your circle.
The people don't matter. The people around you don't matter. What matters is how you present yourself to them.
The influence you have over these people.
Sure.
Yeah, no, I understand that, my leader. But again, as a leader, why is it just important for you to work on yourself? Just improve yourself before you go out to the people there, before you present your information, your vision, before you tell people where you are going. Why is it important for you as a leader to understand yourself, where you are going, or to lead yourself first before others?
Why it is important to lead yourself first? Because you cannot lead people where you don't know where you're going. I cannot take you to places I've never been myself.
Yeah.
Because as leaders, before you even begin thinking of leading others, discover who you are.
Yeah.
Because if you haven't discovered who you are, those are the types of leaders where you find, if the leader says, let's go this side, people are saying, let's go this side, you definitely follow. Why? Because you don't know who you are. So before you begin thinking of, let me lead these people, discover yourself. What are your ethics? Where do I stand as a leader? Okay, there's a quote that says, as a leader, you don't need to take people where they want to go, but take them where they need to go.
Yeah.
Yes. So if you're a leader, okay, at this moment, we need to be this side and we don't want to be. So if people want to be this side, but say they're needed this side, that's a leader. You as a leader, you ought to oversee everything and take charge of others. So before you think of leading others, discover yourself. What are your values? Am I able to influence others? Because if you're not able to influence them, how are they going to be able to follow you?
Yeah.
So discover yourself, know your values, know where you're standing as a leader, and that's when you'll be able to lead others.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, my leader, when you're just talking, my mind, what was coming was personal identity. Personal identity. I'm like, my leader is just talking about personal identity.
Definitely.
Yeah. And personal identity, when I look at your work, I believe that's something you're trying to work so hard just to show people, understand yourself. So, yeah. Yes.
It's important to understand yourself, because imagine if I hear the word Vagwanda, what will come into my mind?
Yeah.
But if I don't know, you've not been relevant, you've not worked on your brand, you've not positioned yourself, you've not developed yourself. What Vagwanda, a soccer player, a musician, this, that. So be deliberate with how you position yourself. Develop yourself to the person that you want to be. Imagine if you're developing yourself to becoming a lawyer, a prominent lawyer. Because the time somebody asks me, which lawyer do you know? I'll remember there's a Bagwada. Why? Because you developed and worked on yourself. So it's important to have a personal identity and to work on that
as a leader.
Sure.
Yeah. Apart from personal identity, which you've talked about, and the ability to influence others, what makes a great leader?
What makes a great leader? I
Yeah.
think for me, I've been moving with this coach say you don't have to be great to start.
Yeah.
You have to start to
Yeah.
be great.
Yeah.
Hence the book, The Courage to Begin.
Yeah.
So what makes one to be great is not about how many people you've led, it's about the impact that you've had on their lives.
Yeah.
Leadership is not about leading only, it's about impact.
Yeah.
So how many lives have you changed as a person?
Yeah.
So what makes one to be a great leader is impact.
Yeah.
Make sure you at least you have a personal connection with the people that you're leading.
Yeah.
Because you can't meet people and leave them the same. At least they should have that impact you made on their lives. That's what makes one, and that's how we measure great leadership.
We measure the leadership. Okay. I just wanted to comment on this. Huh? You know, I've come to observe that every time I see people talking about leadership, especially in this social media platform, I find that every time someone talk about leadership, it's like people forget about school, they forget about church, they forget about our society. The only thing that comes in mind is every time they talk about a leader, someone is a politician. Every time they talk about leadership, then politics must come in. What can just be your comment on that?
And that's a mistake that we make. Actually, even here in Zambia, I've observed.
Yeah.
Once we think of leadership, we think of politicians.
Yeah.
But leadership is not only about being in parliament, being a councillor, leading other people. You can even lead in business spaces.
Yeah.
You can lead in other spaces. So leadership is not only in those spaces, but how many lives you're impacting.
Yeah.
So you don't need to be in those positions to impact lives.
Yeah.
Even people are doing it on their personal level.
Personal level.
Sure.
Yeah. My leader, when we talk of leadership and management, is there a difference between managing people and leading people?
Yes, there is a huge difference with managing people and leading people. So managing people, these corporate spaces. If you go to Zanako, I'll pick on Mukwandi.
Yeah.
Mukwandi doesn't know. I'm not so sure, but I think I'm just assuming.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not even assuming it is true. She doesn't know all the people under Zanako. Why? It's because she's the manager, she's the general boss there.
Yeah.
But if you go with leaders, as a leader, you'd find that you have a personal connection with each and every person that is within your circle.
Yeah.
So there's a difference between managing people and leading people. When you're managing people, you're just a general overseer and making sure everybody's carrying out their tasks. But as a leader, you're helping people develop themselves and become better people than you found them.
Yeah.
Sure. So there's that difference.
Yeah.
Managing is just overseeing, yet leading is having a personal connection and helping them discover who they really are.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, so you talked of Empower 360 and a lot of other things you are doing and a lot of activities which you are giving. And I think few days I just saw you posted something about ventured into agriculture. I was very inspired when I saw that post. I was like, I think this person will never cease to amaze me. Every time, it's like every time you go quiet to come up with something. Like this is me.
I've been punched
Yeah.
by this quote from Yangeni Chandela, which states, "A charcoal burner's child will one day wear a white shirt."
Yeah.
Yes. So the white shirt is not this white shirt.
Yeah.
The white shirt is living the life that we envision.
Yeah.
Earlier on, I stated, and this quote is so dear to me because I believe in it, which says you don't have to be great to start. You have to start to become. So nobody will come to save you.
Yeah.
For you to create the life that you envision, it's your whole 100% responsibility.
Yeah.
Don't depend on the people around you.
Yeah.
Depend on yourself because you have to give yourself the life that you want.
Yeah.
One thing that I love about God is that God is never apologetic about who He is, and God is not a minor God. He's a big God and with big plans.
Yeah.
So if God gave us a vision, why not work on it?
Yeah.
Why not make your life better? If people can live better lives, why can't you do the same? So those are things that really are dear to me.
Yeah, no, that's very strong. Maybe on what you said, we would want to know, how do you stay consistent with your goals and your self-improvement?
Right, how do I stay consistent is very cardinal because I've seen people come up and leave. Because in our early years of Impact 360, there was this organization that started before we did. So to us, it was more like an inspiration. But as we grew, we became like competitors, which shouldn't be the case. When I'm seeing you do things that you're doing, I need to support you. There's a quote which says, "Together you go very low, but alone you go very fast.
Yeah.
So if you're alone, the distance will sound okay. I've managed to go fast.
Yes. Yeah.
But if you're together, you go very fast.
Yeah.
So how do you stay consistent? Number one, know who you are. Because if you know who you are, you definitely will not be lost of track.
Yeah.
Today I'm talking about entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Tomorrow I find you at another venue at a wedding talking about marriages.
Yeah.
The other time I find you at this place you're talking about what are you doing?
Yeah.
You can't be a jack of all trades.
Yeah.
So be specific with what you want to do.
Yeah.
Yes, you may know everything, but what are you known for?
Yeah.
The moment I speak of Africa, I think you know the guy I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Why?
yeah.
Because he's been
Because
consistent.
Yeah.
Yes. So let us, as youths, in as much as we try to work on our dreams, our visions, let's be known for one thing and let's be consistent in that line.
Yeah. So as Albert, how do you stay consistent to your works and consistent on improving yourself every day? Not just teach yourself something, teach yourself a skill, so that you just remain valuable and relevant.
What makes me to be consistent is that I have a huge task to achieve.
Yeah.
I have a huge life and a greater life that I want to accomplish. So until I live that life, I think maybe I'll be satisfied. So currently, I haven't reached that stage where I want to be.
Yeah.
That's why each time I sleep, I remember there's a goal I'm chasing.
Yeah.
I need to own a Benz.
Yeah.
So not until a Benz is brought, not until I have that mansion,
Yeah.
I'll keep on pushing.
That's very strong. That's very powerful. And how do you just balance your personal goals with your professional work and your leadership responsibilities?
It's all about time allocation and knowing which one comes first and what is important.
Yeah.
Sometimes you may invite me for a certain program, but if I have a prior commitment, then that prior commitment is not making sense. I accept it because there was no thing. Then you invite me for something that I know will bring value to me.
Yeah.
I may decline something that I had already committed to and go to something that will make sense. Why? We as humans develop each and every day, and we have to keep on improving and becoming better people.
Yeah.
If what you did yesterday feels too great, just know that today you haven't done
anything. Yeah.
Yes. So as people, we have to learn which one comes first and which one is important.
Yeah.
You have a debt, you have a program where there's money involved.
Yeah.
You're going to spend, you're going to receive. Which one is important? Evaluate it to them definitely. So it's about evaluation and priorities.
Yeah. No, that's very great. Huh? And why do you think personal development is essential to leaders?
It is essential to develop yourself because once you develop who you really are, once you discover who you really are, you'll be able to lead people authentically. Because we don't want to see Everguada today. Tomorrow we hear you've changed your name to John Peter.
Yeah.
So be consistent.
Yeah.
When you're consistent, when you know what you stand for, definitely people know you for that thing.
Yeah.
So it's important as a leader to develop yourself because once you develop yourself, you'll not be lost.
Yeah.
You'll be on track. But if you don't know who you're standing for, then why lead people? Who are they going to follow? Today we hear Vagwada is a musician. Tomorrow he's a politician. No, be consistent, bro. Focus on what you are doing and focus on one thing.
Yeah.
Once you say, okay, I'm satisfied in that, so that way you can move on to the other field.
Yeah.
Sure. So it's very important because it helps you discover who you really are, and it helps you be known for one thing.
Yeah. And what do you think is some of the distractions that are there to personal development? Some common distraction.
I'm speaking on the youth perspective.
Yes.
Usually, we lose track because we don't know what we stand for.
Yeah.
Just recently, I have been too open in discussing these matters, relationship matters, because once I'm in a relationship, I don't want it to distract me. And I put it off media.
Yeah.
But I think it's now becoming a trend whereby, if you're not in a relationship, you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
So those are the things that distract us as youths. You don't know what you're standing for. Once you know who you really are, it's hard. If you invite